Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Dead Space 2 on Zealot difficulty, and this is my guide and walkthrough for the aforementioned title on the aforementioned difficulty. And we are going through the campaign Sans Damage. So this is Chapter 2. I don't remember what it's called. However, you're going to have the one guy on the moving floor over to the right, a save statue, not a save statue, I'm thinking of God of War, I think, a save station, a node room door, and I think they give you the node room schematic in this room. There's also a node in the next room, and I went back and forth to this location, and I experienced about 3 different spawns with 2 sets of enemies total. That doesn't make any sense. That shows you how good at math I am. It's just that there was about 6 enemies in addition to the ones that I kill here. So I just noticed that there is one of those spears on the ground over here, the impaling spears. One of the things that you'll need to pick up if you want an easier time through this game is the TK impalement upgrades. I think there's 2. And that just means that what you throw at enemies is going to be more damaging. And unfortunately, you have to go through the HP upgrades to do that. And since we're not taking damage on this difficulty, that's redundant. And it also doesn't allow us to just stand there and get killed when we need to. But this game has a reset from checkpoint. But when the load times differ when you stand there and you just wait to die, or when you reset from checkpoint. But I think the reset from checkpoint has some issues. But this is our first leaper right here, and these guys are going to be really problematic, especially the infected ones that are dark brown. The things that I've upgraded include let me just put it this way. For this entire chapter, excuse me, I'm not buying anything except stasis upgrades. So upgrade the Stasis Module and upgrade the plasma cutter. I got through this entire chapter and the plasma cutter was fine. It's nerfed a little bit in this game. I mean a little bit, but you know, it's not the overpowered bulldozer that it was in the previous game. I also have some more information on these Pukers, how to throw the regurgitated matter back. But turn around here and then throw this guy. And then in the laundry room is an ambush, and it's really difficult. And it was but what I wanted to mention was at the very beginning of this chapter there's a workbench. And so I just wanted, you know, if you want to follow in my footsteps, I won't be having those screens up every time. But suffice to say, I'll tell you what I'm upgrading. I upgraded, I think, my HP just a little bit so I can get those TK impalements. I upgraded the Stasis Module, and I'm going to be upgrading the plasma cutter all the way. So that's what you should be, you know, if you need schematics of your own to follow. So what you want to do in this room here is go into the corner far back as possible and take care of this guy who jumps down. And then there'll be a guy to the right. So take a limb from him. Drop it on this guy. Okay, that's the Puker. And what I'll say about the Pukers is that they have a spray regurgitation that can't be parried and thrown back. And then they also have what I would say is a faster spit that they kind of like growl and build it up in their chest, and then they spit it. So you need to look for the one, look and listen, really, I guess is what it is. Because the one where they kind of tilt their head back and then spit it at you really fast, that's the one that you can throw back. The one where they just spray a bunch of regurgitated shit at you, that can't be parried. And that sounds like a weird word, parried, but you know, I'm fresh off Ninja Gaiden, and even though the parry was broken as shit in that game, I guess counterattacked. We'll think of something. So just pick up everything over here. pick up all the med packs because we'll be selling them back. I guess a really good tactic would actually be to keep your health. No, that wouldn't be good because then you can't walk fast. But what I was going to say, you know, just keep 1 bar, but your stamina would be suffering at that point. So what you want to do here is grab this ukulele here, and we're going to kill this guy without using any bullets, and I'll show you how. Now, what we're doing now is just throwing shit at enemies. We're not impaling enemies because there are no blunt objects with these. But as you can see, if you just throw refuse and rubble at these enemies, they will eventually expire. And the TK impalement that you get on the rig module, it doesn't speed this kind of thing up because, as I mentioned, it's not an impalement. We're just chucking shit at these enemies. But look the effect of it. He's dead. Did it take a long time? Yeah. Would you want to do that if there's a lot of guys in the room? Hell no. But I'm just showing you can do that. You can throw credits and inventory, like these things that I'm picking up right now. You can pick those up with the Kinesis module and throw them at enemies. I think it's the same. I think everything is like the same. Like, I think a guitar is the same as a credit pack or a med pack when you're throwing it back. But this guy will jump up. You'll have a leaper coming to the left, and I died a few times in this room on hardcore to these exploders. Very fast enemy here, and that's why we're gonna have to get the rate of fire for this gun up and running. So that's the first 2 enemies, and then this room is an lockdown room, and then there's actually a room that I referred to as an engineering room in the previous video. They're called Conduit Rooms, and I don't know if they're accessible. See that room? It's a conduit room. They're accessible on the console versions if you have a Dead Space Ignition file. That game is so fucking stupid, but it's not even a game. It's not. I don't know what it is. It's like a mobile game on a PC, a PS3. So that's the first exploder. This game, I can't tell you how beautiful this game is. Just the scenery of it, the landscape, just looking around and just marveling over everything, picking up stuff, throwing it. So if you freeze these 2 guys when they're near each other, then you can use one of the bombs to destroy the other. And then there's somebody else in this room that really snuck up on me. Okay, so what you do in this case is after you do that, you run down this way, the way you came. However, sometimes what they do is they switch vents on you. So always be looking behind you. It isn't as bad as in Dead Space 3, which I've covered, but I'll never play again because it's shit and junk. But it can be kind of cheap like that. So coming up here now, we'll get the Stasis Module on the subway tracks. And just playing this game, I'm just marveling at how wonderful it is. Like the precision, the mechanics, the grandeur, the beauty of it. Fuck, man. Why can't they make games like this anymore? You know, this game did not rest on its laurels. This game strove to be something incredibly great and innovate on already great mechanics. But for this infector, you want to take him out very quickly. What you can actually do is stomp on bodies so that the infectors can't then inhabit the bodies because they're crushed and in different pieces. But I think that's a little bit unnecessary here because there aren't any huge numbers of enemies here. I'm scared. There's a couple of parts that I remember that just trashed me when I was playing on hardcore. Like I barely survived it. But we're going to get through it, guys, and we're going to have a really fun time. So when you come in here, we're going to be doing the hacking. And then the handholds here, the subway rails, you can stomp on them or melee with them to knock them down. And they're excellent at impaling enemies. So you get a checkpoint right here, and, you know, another nod to the game and not another great thing that they do. They put the checkpoint after that, so you don't have to do that every fucking time. But just hit these off, and this is impaling. See, you impale them, and if they're close enough to a wall, they'll get stuck to the wall, and it's just gorgeous. But If the impalement was up more, he would be dead. It wouldn't take more than one. And then this guy jumps through this window, and then turn to the right, and you'll have a Puker. Right there. See how he kind of stiffens his arms and then pulls back and then shoots it? That's what you can send back his way and kill him instantly. However, since there is no checkpoint over here, I didn't want to do the same thing on this Puker, because sometimes these Pukers, they'll do the spray at first, which if you're standing there all rigid trying to parry, and then you see them doing the spray, it's really hard to back off enough in time. So I'm just going to put him down with traditional hits, and he's the last foe. And on hardcore, you can die in the sections that are coming up, like these sections here. So you want to stay to the left. Stay to the right, because the left door will fall off first, and then go to the left, and then the right door will fall off, and then it's just tapping of the A button. And then on the brute fight that's coming up when you're upside down, I did this on my first try this time. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I would just recommend this gun because it's a lot faster than the line gun. So if you sever the arm that whole, or the tenebrous membrane. Fuck, can I goddamn talk? If you sever the little muscle or piece of flesh that's holding the bomb, you can throw the bomb. You can take the bomb off, throw the bomb. See, in Dead Space 3, what they would probably have you do in this scenario right here is kind of slide from one area to the next in a really gimmicky kind of way. But in this game, there's no participation. You can move the camera, yeah, but that would be the kind of thing that Dead Space 3 does. No ingenuity, just plain dullness all around. So there are some impaling spears down here. I wouldn't go for these boxes, even though you see that I'm being tempted right now to go for them, because we can get them when we land. So the first enemy is going to come right here. He's already severed, and then the next enemy is to the next enemy actually he can be ignored. Like, you can take care of this enemy and the one to the left, stasis them, and then turn to the exploder, and I think you would be able to hit the exploder in time, with time enough. But the bottom line here, you have infinite ammo, and you just don't want to get here without stasis. That's the big deal. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't have bullets. Interestingly here, they give you a reload, so don't even try to reload. They give you a reload and fill your clip up. They do both. They reload your gun, so you don't have to reload, and they give you all the ammunition you need to take care of that brute. Take care.